Hello everyone and welcome back to Coffee Crime with Doncha, or welcome if you're new here. I'm so happy to have you here. Grab your favorite cup of warm coffee or tea, settle into your chair or wherever you listen to your podcast, and let's go over another case together. Disclaimer: all of information in this podcast come exclusively from official sources and investigative files. However, all opinions expressed are my own. Also, English is not my first language, so I apologize in advance. If you enjoy my podcast, please subscribe to the channel, activate the notification buttons, and leave a like or a review. Your support means the world to me and it's for free. So today we are looking into a case that shook the entire nation of Switzerland to its core in summer of 2007. It's a story that changed Swiss law forever and left a mark on the public conscience. This is a very, very sad case, and I will talk about the murder and the child abuse, so please listen with care. With that being said, this is the tragic case of Ylenia Lenhard. So picture a bright, warm Tuesday morning on July 31st in 2007. This is the time when summer holidays are in full swing in the canton of Appenzell Innerrhoden in eastern Switzerland. Appenzell is peaceful mountain town with traditional wooden houses, green hills, and very tight-knit community where children play freely outside and parents feel completely safe. Living in this beautiful town, Appenzell, is also 5.5-year-old Ylenia Lenhard. Ylenia was this little sweet girl who was very joyful and bright. She loved swimming, playing outdoors, playing with her friends, just doing things that little girls do. She lived with her mother, Charlotte, a dedicated pediatric nurse. On the morning of July 31st, Ylenia realizes that she left her bottle of shampoo at the local indoor public pool during her visit the previous day. Being an independent and energetic child, she asks her mother if she can hop on her bright purple kickboard, a child-on-push scooter, and quickly run over to the pool to retrieve it. The indoor pool is just a short, familiar 20-minute ride from her house, right next to her kindergarten. Her mothers agree, and around mid-morning, Ylenia rides off on her scooter. At the swimming pool, witnesses, including the pool attendant, see Ylenia arrive, retrieve her shampoo bottle, and step back outside into the sunlight. And that was the last time Ylenia Lenhard was ever seen alive. When Ylenia fails to return home for lunch, her mother immediately knows something is terribly wrong. Charlotte doesn't hesitate. At 11:57 a.m., she calls the Appenzell Cantonal Police to officially report her 5-year-old daughter missing. Swiss law enforcement recognized the extreme urgency right away. Within hours, a massive search effort was launched. Over 200 emergency personnel, police officers from 3 cantons, firefighters, sniffer dogs, and army helicopters equipped with thermal cameras begin combing every street, trail, riverbank, and forest in and out Appenzell. Flyers with Ylenia picture were distributed across the region by late afternoon. The entire town was on edge. Did 5-year-old Ylenia get lost? Did she suffer an accident? Or had something far more sinister taken place on her short ride home from the pool? As police searched frantically in Appenzell, a bizarre and a violent event unfolded roughly 30 kilometers away in the canton of St. Gallen, providing the first shocking key to this whole mystery. Now let me say that I really admire her mother because she didn't hesitate any second. She knew She had this gut feeling and she knew right away that something was wrong, and she immediately called the police. I think in the cases like this, it is really crucial to handle situation right away. So around 1 p.m. that same afternoon, just an hour after Ylenia was reported missing, a 46-year-old local man was sitting in his car in a quiet forest area called Büderwald near Oberbüren, about a 30-minute drive from Appenzell. He was taking a short nap on a quiet forest road. Suddenly, an elderly male stranger approached his car and started a brief, random conversation. Without a warning or a provocation, the stranger pulled out the handgun and shot the 46-year-old man directly in the chest. Despite being wounded, the man managed to flee through the woods, reach a nearby main road, and flag down a passing motorist who rushed him to the hospital. When the St. Gallen Cantonal Police interviewed the shooting victim, he gave a crucial description. The shooter was driving a wild Renault panel van with foreign license plates. Witnesses in Appenzell quickly came forward to report that a white van with the foreign plates matching that exact description that had been parked right outside the Appenzell indoor swimming pool earlier that morning, right around the time Ylenia vanished. Police forces launched an immediate high-priority manhunt across eastern Switzerland for the white van. By Tuesday evening, July 31st, police located the white Renault van abandoned and locked at the edge of Bilwilderwald forest in Oberbüren, just 3 kilometers from where the shooting occurred. The next morning, August 1st, police sniffer dogs searching the woods near the vehicle stumbled upon a body. The driver of a white van had committed suicide, dying from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Police identified the deceased man as a 67-year-old Urs Hans von Esch, a Swiss citizen who had been residing in Spain. A forensic search of von Esch's locked white van and the surrounding forest floor revealed chilling physical evidence. Inside the van's trunk, police found a shovel heavily coated with fresh soil. Hidden under 3 branches nearby, officers also discovered Ylenia's pulper kickboard. Close to the vehicle, search dogs found her bicycle helmet and her purple backpack. Inside the backpack were her neatly folded clothes, her purple t-shirt and white and orange pants that she has been wearing when she left home. Forensic specialists analyzed DNA traces on all these items. The results were undeniable. Ylenia's DNA and Urs Hans von Esch DNA were found together on the scooter, the helmet, her backpack, her folded clothes, and inside the white van. It was crystal clear. Urs Hans von Esch was the man who had abducted Ylenia. But as von Esch lay dead in the forest by his own hand, he took his secrets to the grave, leaving police with agonizing questions. Where was 5-year-old Ylenia? Now, as the search for Ylenia is the full swing, Swiss police and investigative journalists begin digging deep into the background of the 67-year-old Urs Hans von Esch. What they uncovered was a disturbing, long history of criminal behavior and psychological pathology. Urs Hans was born in Switzerland in 1940. In his early 20s, he completed an apprenticeship as a pen maker and tried starting his own business in Zurich using loans from relatives. But when his business began failing, von Esch turned to a dark and desperate scheme. In 1961, and just 20 years old, von Esch sent an anonymous, terrifying letter to a wealthy coal merchant in Zurich. In the letter, he explicitly threatened to kidnap the businessman's young son as he walked home from kindergarten unless a large ransom was paid. Such a psycho. The businessman contacted police and hired a private investigator. Von Esch was promptly arrested, brought before the Zurich High Court, and sentenced to 15 months in prison for attempted extortion and threatened child abduction. During this trial, a court-appointed psychiatrist evaluated von Esch and officially classified him as a poorly developed infantile psychopath. Holy shit, was he psychopath. In the 1970s and 1980s, von Esch lived in Canton of Thurgau, working as a commercial sales representative. He and his wife took 2 foster children during the 80s, but had no children of their own. In 1990, the couple moved away from Switzerland and settled in the remote village near Alicante in Spain. Their Spanish property was isolated, surrounded by high security fence, and guarded by a warning sign printed in 5 languages. Shockingly, Spanish and Swiss authorities later discovered that von Esch had reached his property with an active booby-trap alarm system. In the late June of 2007, just 1 month before Ylenia vanished, von Esch returned to Switzerland, staying at his mother-in-law's home. He claimed he was looking to buy or rent a flat in eastern Switzerland to move back home. However, official police investigations later revealed that von Esch was preparing a violent crime during those weeks in July 2007. In Zurich, a local hardware store, he purchased a shovel, a handsaw, an ice pick, and a digging fork. In mid-July 2007, he bought a glass bottle of toluol, a potent, highly toxic chemical solvent used as a paint thinner. He also visited a branch of Kantonalbank when he opened a safe deposit box to retrieve revolver, the very gun he later used to shoot the witness in the woods and end his own life. So this was not a sudden impulsive act. Official prosecution files confirmed that Urs Hans von Esch had spent weeks planning a predatory act, purchasing his tools in advance and scouting locations across eastern Switzerland. What followed the death of Urs was one of the largest and most intense missing person searches in Swiss modern history, lasting 7 long weeks. Day after day, the canton's police of St. Gallen, supported by Appenzell authorities, civil defense units, army helicopters, police divers searching nearby rivers, and hundreds of private volunteers combed through every square meter of forest in eastern Switzerland. The case captured national and international headline attention. On August 30th, 2007, the case was presented as a studio case on the iconic German TV show Aktenzeichen XY Ungelost on ZDF, appealing for any sightings of von Esch's white van. Over 1,400 tips poured into the police stations. Tragically, many of those leads proved to be false, misleading, or based on wild tabloid speculations, forcing investigators to waste their time and resources vetting dead ends. 7 agonizing weeks passed with no sign of the little girl. Then came Saturday, September 14th, 2007. A local computer scientist from Winterthur named Simon Kuhn had been voluntarily spending his weekend searching the woods for Ylenia. While walking through the dense Hartmannswald forest near Oberbüren, just 200 meters from where Ylenia's scooter had been found 7 weeks earlier, he noticed something disturbing in the underground. Resting in a shallow, 50-centimeter deep hole beneath a tree where human remains had been partially uncovered by wild animals. Simon Kuhn immediately called the police. Forensic pathologists and crime scene investigators arrived and secured the site. By taking her jewelry, forensic experts officially confirmed the tragic reality. Yes, it was 5-year-old Ylenia Lenhard. The discovery site was only 2.7 kilometers away from when von Esch's white van had been abandoned. An autopsy was immediately conducted at the Institute of Forensic Medicine. Pathologists performed thorough forensic examinations and confirmed two facts. First, there was no injury or there were no signs of mechanical violence on her body. Second, there was no evidence whatsoever of any sexual assault. On November 19, 2007, the official forensic toxicology reports were finalized. The cause of death was officially determined to be severe toluol poisoning. Urs Hans von Esch had forced or administered the toxic pain thinner he had bought weeks earlier to little Ylenia, causing her death before burying her body in the shallow forest grave. In the months and years following the discovery of Ylenia, the case generated intense legal and media discussions in Switzerland. One major controversy involved the coverage by tabloid media, particularly the newspaper. Tabloids published wild speculations claiming von Esch had an accomplice, that he was smooth-shaven on the day of the crime, or even attempting to link him to the disappearance of Madeleine McCann in Portugal. St. Gallen's chief prosecutor Thomas Hans Jakob publicly condemned these reports, stating that false claims caused immense emotional pain to Ylenia's grieving family and forced police to divert vital resources to investigate baseless rumors. In March 2019, nearly 12 years after the crime, the St. Gallen Cantonal Police and Public Prosecutor's Office held a 1-hour press conference to address lingering media rumors once and for all. First, Public Prosecutor Christoph Gertcher and Police Officer Chief Stefan Kühne presented definitive forensic proof. Zero third-party DNA was ever found on Ylenia's belongings, her clothes, the scooter, the shovel, or inside von Esch's van. Urs Hans von Esch acted entirely alone as a single killer. Despite the unimaginable tragedy, Ylenia's death inspired profound positive changes in Swiss society and law enforcement. First, public outrage over the delay in warning the public led directly to political action. In 2010, the Swiss federal government established Switzerland's first national child abduction alert system, the Swiss Amber Alert. If a child is abducted today, immediate alerts are broadcasted instantly across motorway signs, train stations display, TV networks, radio and mobile phones nationwide. Second, the Intercantonal Police Task Force Soko Rebecca established Switzerland's first comprehensive national sex offender database to track dangerous individuals across cantonal borders. And third, and perhaps most beautiful in the legacy created by Ylenia's mother, Charlotte Lenhard. In October 2007, Charlotte founded the Stiftung Ylenia, means the Ylenia Foundation. Using donation received after the tragedy, Charlotte turned her grief into actionable hope. Over the past 15 years, the foundation has funded 3 major educational and infrastructure projects in the Philippines, building primary schools that allow thousands of children to receive an education and build a safe future for them. As Charlotte beautifully put it, quote, "I continue with foundation so that Ylenia is never forgotten," end quote. Looking at this case, it is really heartbreaking remember of how a single predator can shatter lives, but also how a mother's love and resilience can transform profound pain into a beacon of hope for thousands of children around the world. Ylenia was a bright, happy little girl whose memory continues to bring light to the world through her mother's work. And that brings us to the end of episode of Coffee Crime with Doncha. Guys, this was very, very hard episode for me. I'm so sorry for my language, but yeah, it was really hard. So I hope you understand. If you have any ideas for other cases, whether missing people, suspicious deaths, suspicious disappearances, or if you want to leave me a feedback, please do so in the info box under the podcast or a video. If you are watching on YouTube, you will find a link to a form that you can fill out at any time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you or hear you next time. Please take care and stay safe. Love you.